Okay. Hold on, let me just admit all of you. Okay, today we will continue with chapter 2.3 regarding device driver. Okay, so this is the last subchapter in chapter 2. Okay, so your exam will be in week 7. You will have your first test, so it will cover up to chapter 2.3. Okay, so we are going to have your tests next week, but I will let you know by this by the next class. I will let you know when is the exact date. I'm not sure yet, but I know it was mentioned to us. It's going to happen on week 7. So now is week 6. So week 7 is next week. Okay. I hope you are all you can all do it lah. Okay. I can see only 44 students. I don't see kelas saya rasa dalam 60 lebih, but I don't see all 16. Never mind. Okay, so let's just continue with this chapter. Okay, chapter 2.3. So chapter 2.3, we are going to highlight about device manager, device driver interface, and device driver API, and also what we say as driver-kernel interface. Okay, so what we are going to look at in this chapter is basically how the operating system handles all the devices in your system. Okay, so any hardware which is connected to your PC, the operating system needs to recognize that hardware. So once it's able to recognize that hardware, it's able to use that particular hardware. Okay, so this is how this chapter is going to explain to you about. So for the operating system to use any particular hardware, the operating system needs something which is called the driver to actually help to use the hardware. For example, if you have your phone at home and you are watching YouTube, okay, and if you have a smart TV at home, you can actually connect your YouTube from your phone and send it over to your smart TV. Okay, so the connection between your phone and your TV, there is something. Okay, there is a connection between that and your phone and your television. Okay, if you do not have this particular, what we say as a driver, then you are unable to connect your phone with your smart TV. Okay, so that is how the operating system works itself. The operating system needs to have a driver to connect to all of the hardware which is connected to the PC. Okay, hardware means it can be anything, from the monitor to the mouse to your USB thumb drive, any new hardware which is connected to the PC, the operating system needs a driver to connect with the hardware so that it's able to recognize that hardware. Okay, so we have 4 subchapters here, 4 contents here. So we hope that by the end of this subchapter, you are able to recognize what is a device driver, and we are also going to touch what is an API, and we are also going to look at some of the how does the interface look like and how the driver talks to the kernel itself. Okay, so as you know, the kernel is one part, is inside the operating system. So it basically controls the operating system. Okay, so understanding the device manager. Okay, the device manager is a control applet in the Microsoft Windows operating system. Okay, we are using the Microsoft Windows as our example for operating system, and it allows users to view, control the hardware attached to the computer. So any hardware which is attached to the PC can be controlled to this control panel applet. When a piece of hardware is not working, okay, the offending hardware is highlighted for the user to deal for the user to deal with. Okay, let's say,
Sir,
yeah.
tak nampak PowerPoint.
Oh, dari tadi tak nampak PowerPoint eh?
Tak nampak sir.
Awak lah baru cakap. Punyalah semangat saya present. What can you actually see?
I can see your face.
Google Meet.
Google Meet.
Okay, how about this one? Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go into this. Okay, so back to the beginning, we have four contents. We are going to understand the device driver interface, the API, the driver-kernel interface. Okay. Right. So, what is a device driver? Is a control applet in Microsoft Windows operating system, allows users to view and control the hardware attached to the computer. And it says here, when a piece of hardware is not working, the offending hardware is highlighted for the user to deal with. Okay. Let me show you how it looks like. Okay. Let's see if I have a picture. Okay, this is the control panel applet, and this is how it looks like. And all of this on the left hand side here. Can you see the left hand side here? Nampak tak? The left hand side here. Okay, the left hand side here is where the hardwares are all connected. So all of this, from the battery to the driver, okay, to the modem, to the monitor, network adapter, and sound card are all the hardwares which is inside, which is connected to the PC, and it is connected to the operating system. So if one of this is not working, for example, this one here yellow, so you cannot, the operating system cannot use this hardware. Okay, so this is another PC here. This is a desktop PC here. So these are all the hardwares which are connected to the operating system, and all of this seems to be okay. So there's no yellow sign like on the left hand side. So the operating system can use all of these devices. Okay, let's go back to the first two slides. Okay, so next slide. Okay, for each device, users can supply device driver for the hardware, enable or disable, and tell Windows to ignore malfunction devices, or you can view other technical properties. Okay, so the device driver was introduced in '95, and we have the network version also as well. So what does it mean by enable, disable? Okay, enable, disable means, let's say you have, for example, most of the laptops have built-in speakers. Okay, so the speaker which is built in inside your PC is already connected to the operating system, and by default, any sound which comes out from your PC is heard inside the built-in speaker. Let's say you buy a new good speaker. Let's say you buy let's say good speaker, Altec Lansing speaker. Okay, let's say you buy a new Altec Lansing speaker. So you want to attach the new speaker with the PC. So by attaching a new speaker to your PC, it's as if you are connecting a new hardware. So when you connect a new hardware, so now the device driver will read the new speaker as a new hardware. So now you have two sound for the operating system to use. One is the default speaker, which is built in inside the laptop, or another one, which is the new speaker that you have bought. So the users can now enable one and disable the other one. Okay, let's say you want to enable the new speaker and you want to disable the old built-in speaker. So you are able to do that. Okay, you can run, sometimes you can run, but sometimes they will create conflict. So which sound are you looking into? So that's why you can enable one and disable another one. Okay, so next, so this is again how I showed you this now. What are the hardwares installed inside the PC? Okay, so each each of these hardwares are connected to the PC, and if it's connected to the PC, it can be used by the operating system. So understanding a device manager, know which components are busy and which are free. So this is why the operating system needs to know which devices are connected to your PC. So it needs to know which component. Components here means which devices, okay, are busy and which are free. Busy means it's doing something. Busy means it's, for example, let's say you have a built-in mic inside your laptop. Okay, when you say it's busy, meaning the mic is being utilized, means something is happening. Free means the mic is not being utilized. Or you have a built-in camera, so same as well. The built-in camera is being utilized or not utilized. Okay, and then be able to accommodate requests that come in during heavy input-output traffic. For example, if you're using the printer, so the printer has a high input and high output. Okay, so the device manager needs to control what goes inside the printer and what goes out from the printer. Okay, so what does it mean? But because you might ask me, but the printer only comes out, there's nothing coming in. But actually, from the device driver gets something in from the operating system and releases something out to the printer. So the device manager is something which controls whatever is coming in from the PC, from the operating system, and going out from the device to the printer. Okay, then accommodate disparity speeds between CPU and input-output devices. Okay, so it will control the speed, which data is coming in, which data is going out. Okay, this normally happens if you are looking at your network cards. Okay, the network card will determine how fast the data comes in and how fast the data leaves the PC. So this is what it means by controlling the disparity speed between the CPU and input-output devices. All right. Next, we also have the device manager design. Okay. How do you use this device manager? One is by default. You can use it by default, or you can also create an API. Okay. We will look into what is an API. Okay. So what's an API? An API that implements the input-output function available to the device, still complement with the interfaces implemented by other drivers. This is called device driver interface. Okay, so sometimes you might have seen this before. You need to upgrade your API. What is an API? We will do it in the next slide. Okay, an API is an application programming interface. Okay, so I think I won't read this. This is a bit technical for you. Okay, this is all. I'll just show you how it looks like. Okay, so this is how an API looks like. Okay, so you have the application software here at the top here. I hope you can see. Okay, and you have the operating system here. Okay, all right. So the operating system needs to use this application. Okay, all right. So in order for the operating system to use the application, it needs something in between, which is what we say as the API. Okay, so what is the difference between an API and a device driver? A device driver connects the operating system and the hardware tool. Okay, device driver, the nama pun driver, it connects the operating system and the hardware. Okay, that's clear. API connects the operating system and a software, which is the application software lah. Okay, so that is what we say an API. However, in certain conditions, you can also have a hardware which also has an API. Okay, so I give you an example down here. Does only operating system have API? No. We have other programs which has an API. For example, Google Maps here. Okay, so Google Maps you can consider as what we say as an application. Okay, as an application. So Google Maps is an app. It will transmit the map from here into the hardware. Okay, from the application or software into the hardware. So in order for it to connect from the application to the hardware, it also has an API. Okay, it also has an API for the hardware here to read what is Google Map transmitting. So the hardware here will read all the APIs here. Let's say the Google Map changes a new map. For example, let's say it adds on new roads. So the API will be automatically updated. So the maps will be now reflected in this GPS hardware here. Okay. So sometimes you also have, and just above the application, you have the graphical user interface. Okay. So you can have operating system through an API goes up to the application and then comes back to the API. Do we need an API for all applications? Yes, we need a specific API for all applications. You cannot use your PDF API for Microsoft Word. You need separate APIs. Kalau Microsoft Office is one API, and if it's in PDF, it's another API. Are you with me over there? Dengar tak suara saya? Can you all hear me?
Dengar.
Okay, sir.
Do you have any questions?
No.
You understand API? Have you all heard about API before?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. API ni dia macam ni lah. Let's say I give you another API controls function, procedures, and syntax and protocol kat sini. Okay. This is what we say is an API. API normally works with the software. That means how the operating system interacts with that software is something in between. So that means the operating system will send something, a signal or anything, goes through the API. The API converts that into something which the application can understand, and the application will use it. Okay. Okay, each operating system defines architecture for its device manager. Okay, each operating system has two major interface device driver, the driver API and the interface between a driver and the operating system kernels. Okay, all right. So here we have all your PCs here, which is installed by operating system Android kat sini, operating system kat sini, operating system kat sini. Okay, now it needs to talk to a database which is available outside of this PC, of this operating system. Let's say this example of database here is what we say as your Google Drive. So Google Drive is a form of database. It's available on the cloud. So in order for the operating system in your PCs here to talk to your cloud, you need to go through something which is called the Web API. So the Web API connects your database, your cloud here, to the API and back into your PC. So we have also something which is called the Web API. Okay. So my question to you is, tak payah tanya. Let me answer my own question. Can you use, like a user, you and me, can you use a Web API? Yes, you can use a Web API. If you want to create your own, let's say, interface, yes, you can do that. You just have to download the API and understand the commands, and you can use whatever the API provides you to use. Okay, there are some APIs which is open. You can use it, no problem. Okay, you can use it, no problem. You can use the APIs. It's available online. You can just download and you can do some coding and you can use the API. Okay, this is how sometimes hackers do their job. They will find an API and they will transfer whatever information from the API to their system, to their application. Okay, so this is also possible. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
No.
Sir,
So the-
ada orang belum boleh masuk.
Ada orang belum.
Ada waiting.
Sekejap. Okay. Okay, can you see my slides? Nampak tak slide saya?
Nampak.
Nampak.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So what does the API provide, or what does the driver API provide? Okay. It provides so many things. One is it must track of the state of the device. So now we are going back to the device driver. The device driver must be able to tell you that the device is working, yes or no. Is it busy, yes or no? Okay. Is something wrong with your PC? Okay. So that is the responsibility of the device driver. Okay, an API on the other hand, okay, needs to have these basic functions. It needs to open and close function. It needs to read and write. It needs to have something which is called the input-output control itself. Okay, so what do you mean by open and close? Meaning open, it needs to be the API can receive data. Okay, close, that means it needs to be able to close. That means no more data is coming in. Just imagine when I told you about the Google Maps and the GPS. So there is an API in between which allows the Google Map to transmit data, open, and the hardware will open to receive this data. And once it receives this data, it will close this data. It will close it. That is why, okay, that is why sometimes the GPS, even if you have no signal, is able to show you the map because it's already downloaded or it's already inside the memory of the GPS, and the function is closed already. It does not need to be open all the time. Okay, and you also have read and write function. Let's say the GPS allows you to read back or write back something to the Google Map, so you are able to do that as well. The API is able to do as well. Or let's say you have an input-output control function, meaning let's say you search, you are able to search in your GPS from your hardware, you're able to search a location. So when you submit that search, it goes back to the Google API, it looks inside the Google map, where is the location. So once it has found the location, it will send it back to the Google API, and Google API will transmit back to your hard disk, your GPS. Okay, next we also have the driver-kernel interface. Okay, the driver-kernel interface, I'll ask you to read. but I will show you how it looks like. Okay, so this is what we have now, the driver kernel interface. We have two ways of installing the driver. Okay, during the olden days, when a new device is connected to your PC, okay, the operating system needs to be formatted again to recognize that hardware. Let's say you install, or let's say you buy a new monitor or new keyboard or a new modem. So when you install or when you connect that hardware to your PC, the operating system needs to be reformatted because it cannot recognize that new device. However, if you look at this picture now, the modern day driver installation is allowed without reformatting the operating system. This picture shows you have your thumb drive. Okay, you have your thumb drive, which is now connected to your PC here. Okay, and automatically you will get this message, new hardware, and this installation will take place without the operating system needs to format the PC. It can take place by itself. So this is how the new operating system handles new hardware inside. Okay, so by installing the new device driver, you are actually updating the kernel, so that now the kernel knows there is a new hardware attached to the PC. Can you now see my slides or what?
Yes, sir.
Can, sir. Yes.
Okay, can you see the slides? Okay, so this is the overall picture of the operating system and the hardware. Okay, so you have the application right at the top there. Application 1, 2, 3, 4, and N. You have so many applications. And each of these application has a user interface and also has a system call. And right up down to your hardware, which is at the bottom. So each of this is a process manager. So these are all as well what we say as a driver, which is connected to the system call. And from the system call, it will be attached, it will be connected to the operating system, which is connected directly to the hardware. So this is how it works like. So basically, you need, for each hardware, there is a need to have a device driver, which is connected to the operating system. For the software, we have something which is called the API. Okay, the API connects the software side to the hardware side. Okay, so we have something in between to connect the software and the hardware. Okay, this API is very, very interesting. You can get so many APIs available from the net. Okay, you can Google examples of API. You can have a simple coding and you can do anything and everything you want. For example, you can download API ni macam ni lah. Inside your C programming or your Java, you include IO stream. You include your include files right at the top. The same thing. So when you have those include files, you are able to use whatever the include files function. So same as your API. If you install a proper API, you are able to use whatever the API is allowing you to use. Okay, so you can try and download these APIs and install it, not install it, and try to use inside your programs, and it will run like how you want it to run. Okay, so sometimes we are connecting, let's say for example, from our website, from our Google Chrome to your Google Drive. So you are connecting from one web page to a database system which is on the cloud. So how you are connecting to each other? You are using a web-based API to connect from your screen, where your your Chrome, right up to your Google Drive. Okay, are you all okay with me? Faham tak?
Faham, sir.
Okay.
Semua. When can I see your faces? Selama saya ada kelas dengan awak 5 minggu ni, I have never ever seen your face. Okay, never mind. So what is your take back from today? Your take back from today is, okay, you need to understand two things. Okay, you need to understand two things. You need to understand what is a device driver. Okay, very important. You need to understand what is an API. Which is this? API, remember, API is normally related, bukannya selalu, is always related to software. Okay, if you are talking about device driver, it's always your hardware. But if you're talking about API is most of the time talking to your application software. Okay, sama juga macam yang ini, this is an API, Google API, software to the hardware. Software to...
Sir.
Yes.
Saya kata API ni selalu untuk software. Tadi saya kata tak semestinya API ni untuk benda lain juga kan? Boleh guna kan?
Correct. Boleh, betul.
Jadi kalau input output device tu akan ada API juga.
Can you repeat your last statement tadi tu?
Saya kata API ni boleh guna untuk benda lain juga kan? Contoh macam input output device. Lebih kurang. Ke dia memang untuk khas untuk software?
Okay. Device driver is always for your hardware. So that's clear. Okay, that's clear. API is mostly used for software application lah. Okay.
Okay.
But some hardwares also uses APIs as well. Can talk to APIs. Ada certain hardware yang membolehkan kita use your API. For example, if we are talking from phone to your smart TV. Okay, so from your phone to your smart TV, then you are going through an API. You need to have an API, and this API will talk from your phone to your apa namanya tadi, smart TV lah. Okay, because you tak adalah pernah, let's say you're connecting your phone and your smart TV, you don't see, okay, now installed, okay, your smart TV is now installed. Tak ada, you just use straight away je. API ni normally you guna terus je, you tak payah nak install apa-apa dah. Okay, you just use,
dia terus connect
dia terus connect je, dia tak ada nak install dulu. Tapi the setback of API, you selalu kena update. If there is a new function, you kena update. That is the setback of API. Tapi kalau device driver, you kena install. Dia tak ada update, dia punya update jarang ada update lah. Tapi API selalu ada update. API ada, you will find API dia ada update je lah. There are more updates. Okay. Let's say I give you another example. You dah download My Sejahtera kan? Dah download dah My Sejahtera?
Dah.
My Sejahtera is what you say is an application lah. Okay, so this application uses the phone punya camera to capture QR code. Okay, itu satu application. Let's say another application, Touch and Go punya e-wallet also uses the camera punya device to ni. So there are banyak application ni. So each application has their own API, My Sejahtera API, to connect to the device, which is the camera lah. The camera tu. So the MySejahtera will connect to the API, the MySejahtera API to connect to the device. Okay, to connect to the device. So there are also certain API yang, let's say you're doing a new program, you tengah buat Java program, and awak pun nak buat something which connects to, or you're doing a mobile application, you want to connect to the camera. So you can download some APIs to install inside your Java program, your Android, your mobile apps to use the camera juga. Okay, so API is quite easy, quite fun to play with, but the only problem is you have to keep on updating your API. Okay, any questions? Next question, ada apa soalan lain? Okay, so ada? Tak ada? Okay, so we will stop here today because I need to look into my laptop. Tadi sebelum datang ni, my laptop macam tak tahu lah apa jadi. So I need to look into that. And today is week number 6. Your test will be in week number 7. And I will let you know latest by this Thursday when is your exact dates of your test. But obviously it's next week. Chapter yang masuk is chapter 1 and until chapter 2.3.
Sir,
Yep.
if I want to revise your lama punya video past video, where can I find it?
I put everything in my YouTube channel. Okay. I have a YouTube channel.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you can see I've already listed down this semester punya lectures and next semester tak adalah. Last semester punya lecture is almost the same saja. So every time after class I will download this lecture ni, and then I will upload it back in my YouTube channel. Okay, so if you want to see all the previous notes lectures, you can just go online to my YouTube channel. Tahu kan my YouTube channel tu ada itu YouTube.
Tahu. Dah subscribe.
You will see. Sorry, can you repeat that?
I already subscribed it.
Oh, Alhamdulillah. So
I'm
you
also.
So you can you just go, but sometimes you will see 2 videos on the same chapter. So one might be the latest one, one might be the previous one. So it's almost the same as well. Okay, so thank you very much. I hope you have a nice day. It's now 3 o'clock. Okay, we have to stop now because I have to go and see my laptop. I have no idea what kenapa dia tak boleh on. Nantilah if I have a problem, I will contact you lah. Okay, thank you so much. If you have any questions, please let me know, and you can just message me directly, or you can send me a WhatsApp or anything. And please go and sign your attendance at the future. And I will see you inshallah in the next class. And then before that, I will try to get you the exact dates for our test next week. Okay? So thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yes, sorry.
Last question.
Yeah, sure.
So untuk test tu, dia just soalan yang saya akan bagi dalam bentuk teori ke apa?
Oh, soalan ni sangat
ada
susah
kena
sekali.
guna apps ke apa?
The question is going to be very, very difficult. Saya akan cari soalan yang paling susah untuk awak semua. It's going to be an online exam lah, online ke offline, tak tahu lah macam mana. Tapi soalan dia sangat susah lah. Tapi jangan risau lah, ada soalan MCQ, multiple choice, sikit-sikit here and there lah. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Serius eh?
Ada soalan suaikan semualah, don't worry, macam sudoku semua ada, don't worry. Soalan senang saja. Tak adalah bagi soalan susah. I'll try to give you lah soalan paling susah sekali lah. Okay, alright, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace out.
Salam. Thank you, sir.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, sir.